Hey, what's up guys? John here. China's replacing the dollar and the euro in all Russian banks. They're getting away from the dollar. They're doing trade deals in oil between China and Russia in the yuan. This, I believe, happening at this moment is a real strong testament as to where the future is going. The future is going into a new direction. It's not going to be with the dollar as the global reserve currency. What we're seeing right now is Joe Biden placing sanction after sanction after sanction on Russia. And with this happening, I believe it's pushing other countries to ask themselves, do we want to put ourselves in a position to where this could happen to us? Now what's happening is India, Saudi Arabia, China, all of these countries partnered with Russia are asking themselves, what is the safest move next? And I believe that if we continue down this road, we're going to be stepping into a place to where America loses the freedoms and the luxuries that we obtain from having the global reserve currency status. We're stepping into a dark time, and it's definitely going to impact us. On this channel, I talk about personal finance, real estate, business, and money, and it's impossible to ignore this. With that being said, hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content to educate more people on what's going on. Let's begin. China's yuan is replacing the dollar and the euro in Russian bank accounts amid Western sanctions, report says. Russian banks are reportedly seeing sharp increases in Chinese yuan in their clients' accounts as Western sanctions limit access to the dollar and the euro. According to a March survey conducted by Russian Financial Daily, large banks have seen a spike in funds being converted from dollars and euros into yuan. New accounts are being opened in yuan. In Tinkoff Bank, the volume of accounts funded in yuan has gone up 8-fold. MTS Bank saw a 4-fold jump, and the bank St. Petersburg increased by 3.5 times. Under the conditions of restrictions, many companies see settlements in yuan as more stable and predictable. MTS Bank told Kommersant. Another Russian bank noted that many companies involved in wholesale trade are switching to settlements in yuan. The shift comes as Western countries continue to impose severe financial sanctions on Russia for its war in Ukraine, including limitations on foreign currency use. But since China has not participated in the wartime sanctions, access to the yuan remains open, making it a potential currency alternative. Russian finance consultant told Kommersant that a sea of change is underway. In the medium term, he said, the yuan will not only replace the dollar in settlements in China, but also become more reliable means of international settlement for Russian companies. But while transactions with the Chinese currency have grown, the dollar and Europe remain dominant worldwide. In addition, China is buying Russian energy with its own currency, marking the first commodities paid for in yuan since Western sanctions hit Moscow. China is buying Russian oil and coal with its local currency as Western sanctions on Moscow spur trade deals that don't rely on the US dollar. In March, several Chinese firms use yuan to purchase Russian coal, which will begin arriving this month and mark the first commodity shipment purchased in China's currency since the war in Ukraine began. Meanwhile, the first shipments of Russian oil purchased in yuan will arrive at independent Chinese refineries in May. Such deals are typically priced in dollars, but Western sanctions imposed on Russia after it invaded Ukraine have largely cut off Moscow from the global financial system. And while Russian energy wasn't targeted in the initial waves of sanctions, the US and Europe are more aggressively hitting that sector as evidence of war crimes in Ukraine continue to mount. As the US leverages the power of the dollar to punish Russia economically, some countries are looking at other currency arrangements. For example, the India and Russian governments have held talks to reinstate ruble ledger for the first time since the Cold War. Saudi Arabia and China have discussed the yuan-based oil deals as well. Experts have speculated that China will look to alter the status quo away from the dollar by pushing the yuan even more aggressively into the world stage. Other countries' need for dollars exposes them to the U.S. financial sector and consequently gives the U.S. political leverage, economists said. The effectiveness of the West sanctions against Russia has worked as a wake-up call for countries seeking to reduce their reliance on the dollar, he added. For now, the dollar's dominance is firmly established as it accounted for nearly 90% of foreign trade transactions in 2019 compared to just 4% of the yuan. And when we look at the rebound in the ruble, look at February, late February, about 78, 80, right? 80, 83. and then plummeted to it looks like 128, and it recovered. So we have a big recovery that we're seeing in the ruble, and to me, this is a sign that America only has so much power and dominance over the ruble, and it looks like other countries are going to step forward and really give a helping hand and potentially build out a partnership in which they can all benefit and not be so reliant on us. Another big problem that I see is this right here. This is CNN. Biden says major war crimes being discovered in Ukraine after he announces new sanctions in Russia, right? We will keep raising the economic cost and ratchet up the pain for Putin and further increase Russia's economic isolation, Biden said, decrying the intentional targeting of civilians by Russia and heralding a united Western response even as he acknowledged the battle was still ongoing. Russian sanctions threaten to dilute dominance of the dollar, IMF official says. Now, what we're stepping into right now is we're stepping into an environment where we're almost begging other countries to come up with a solution that does not include us. A solution to where they are no longer dependent on the dollar, and a solution where we can't sell our debt and have all of the benefits that we've enjoyed of being the reserve currency. We are going to potentially lose a lot of this. And if this does happen, we are going to get a rude wake-up call. A wake-up call that we've really never had in our lifetimes. One that could really bring us to a place of almost a third world country. We would be suffering at levels that are quite unimaginable. And it looks like this is all pretty much moving in this direction. Am I saying it's going to happen now? No. But am I saying that we are moving in that direction? Definitely. We're also seeing a lot of countries accumulating gold and precious metals, and they're investing. They're taking some risk off the table with being fully dependent on the dollar. Do you think that over the next year or 2 years, we're going to be stepping into a place where more and more and more countries are going to be de-dollarizing and stepping into other countries, potentially putting some of their wealth in Yuan, putting some of their wealth in rubles or rupees, and taking other currencies into consideration with storing wealth outside of just precious metals such as gold? What do you think about all this? Do you think we're stepping into a world of change? Drop your comments below. Do you think sanctions and all of this are going to continue for Russia? Drop below. Let's talk about it. Subscribe here and consider subbing on my second channel. The link's down below, as well as TikTok, where I post 3 to 5 times a day. Catch you guys later. One-on-one call. To get a one-on-one mentoring and a personal consultation tailored around your YouTube channel or your real estate project, click the link in the description below this video and register for a one-on-one Zoom call with me.